gone to sea. I'd likely have had a little shop down Canning Town selling fags and papers. And every Saturday I'd be down West Ham.
And what you like, is it? Nice little shop in Canning Town, never go back to sea.
And not be, what is it? 62, looking for a park bench somewhere until sailing time?
There's a lot like me.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, I talk too much, always did.
You say you've got no form.
That's right.
You're not wanted, are you? Bigamy? Arson in Her Majesty's dockyards? Conspiracy to lurk?
Why don't you ask them down at the yard?
Oh, you seem to know the drill.
Yeah, I do.
We probably will.
While you're at it, you can ask them something for me.
Oh, yeah, like what?
I had a fella I once knew. He had form. What you'd call a villain.
Friend of yours?
I wouldn't say that.
But what about him?
I'd just like to know where he is.
Now, let me get this straight. Now, you want me to ask the yard where his villain is, who's on a friend of yours, right?
Yeah.
He's lovely here.
Last I heard of him, he was doing bird. He's getting on a bit now. Be done with all that.
Well, you could always ask around where he used to live.
He's gone now. The street's gone.
Where was that?
Down Catford, it's all gone. Will you ask him?
No way. Ask missing persons or the Sally Army or something.
What was his name?
Small. George Small. Had a ruddy great nose like an elephant. That's why they called him Trunky. Trunky Small.
Well, I think everybody's glasses are charged, sir. Say that, Murray. Gentlemen. The Queen. The Queen. The Queen. The Queen. God bless you, sir. That was a very good meal.
Formal, aren't we?
Maybe. People should remember, don't you think?
Remember? What?
Yes. Our absent friend.
Oh, for God's sake, leave it. He's dead. Somebody take that thing away.
Jacko, come on, give us a tune, brighten things up a bit.
Some of the old ones we all know.
Just as Trunky got the hatch covers off to get at us over, that's when our man fell. Port side aft, between the ship and the wharf.
Didn't anyone hear the splash?
You never been aboard a ship and dock?
No.
Generators going, cooling waters pouring. It's not like a ship's asleep, you know. And our lad didn't shout. Although he must have known he'd never get out without somebody threw him a line. He must have known.
Well, if he had shouted.
Oh, they would have heard him, aye. Trunky's mobbing him away, free.
So, you saw all this, did you? Where were you?
Along the wharf. In the cab of a crane. Topsides. See, it was down to me, you see, when Trunky got the bullion off his ship and onto his truck. I was to call Ash, then he'd bang shut the dock gates and we'd take him. 500,000 in silver bullion. And 7 good villains, and Trunky Small and all.
How were you supposed to contact Ash?
I was on radio. Me in the crane and him in the attic over the pub.
The Indian man?
That's right.
So what did you do?
60 feet up in a crane. Not a thing. What could I do?
Well, you called Ash. You called Ash and told him what? You told him that one of our lads was dead, or as good as dead, unless he aborted the operation, right?
That you would have done, Sergeant, eh?
I don't know. I wasn't there. Only
what?
I mean, it was up to Ash, wasn't it? I mean, he was in command.
And what he said was, wait.
Perhaps the radio was stuff. Not so good then, were they? Maybe he didn't hear it.
The coroner after. Trying to be helpful, he said that. But no. Ash heard me well enough. And all he said was, wait. Then Trunky's mob were away off the boat and we were into them. There was a hell of a scrap and we lifted them.
All of them?
All except one. I always thought Ash knew well enough who that one was, the one that got away.
Well, he was the one who gave him the information in the first place, right? And Ash let him get away.
Happens still, does it? Some villain tells you there's a job on tonight, but it's only on if he goes along. So you lift the others and let him run. Pay him what he's owed in the morning.
Yes, that still happens.
Anyway, all except that one were lifted. Trunky Small got 12 years. never came out. Died in Parkhurst. And Willie Ash, in the end...
He got to be a commander.
Which was right. He was a good man. There's a lot of folks sleep safe because of the likes of him.
But you said the price was too high.
The last I saw of this chap, he'd swum under the stern. I never saw him anymore. We searched all night, in the rain, freezing off the river. In the morning, the Galveston Bay ran her main engines to move ship, and the wash must have sent the body up. And the wee slip of a girl that he'd just married was there, waiting. I doubt if Mr. Ash will enjoy his reunion tonight.
Truly, truly fair, truly, truly fair. How I love my truly fair. Fair songs to sing her, trinkets to bring her, flowers for her golden hair. Some men around the open flame, some men sail the brine, but I'm in love with a pretty dame, for work I have no time. Truly, truly fair, truly, truly fair. How I love my truly fair. There's songs to sing her, trinkets to bring her, flowers for her golden hair.
What that means is you've discharged yourself,
Yes, and don't blame us if you go down with bubonic plague.
which very likely you will. Right, I'm going to drop you off.
Drop me off where?
Commercial road. You can maybe get into the mission.
Failing which, there's always fat Annies. Anywhere in the world, there's always fat Annies.
Don't forget, tomorrow morning, look in at the station.
What for?
Told you, I want a statement of how you come to fall in.
How did you, anyway?
I told him the stanchion came adrift.
Yeah, so you keep telling us. Now, come on, how did you really fall into that dock?
I told you, it just happened.
It just happened. Well, nothing just happens. What were you trying to do, top yourself?
No, I was working down there at the dock.
No, what are you talking about? You've been at sea.
What I'm telling you is how I come to go to sea. What I'm talking about happened 20 years ago.
Oh, that's terrific. That's going to help us a great. Well, come on, let's have it.
Now listen, the one I asked you about, Trunky, he knew me, you see. He lived down the same street as me at Catford, didn't he? But he was mad, Trunky. I mean, psycho. He tells me this ship's in, the Galveston Bay, with silver from South America. Was down by P-Shed. And what Trunky wants to know is, I should tell him